Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am your host, Ahmani Brown. Now, just letting you know before you get any further. Well, obviously, Pele's over here first. Pele.
Yep, I'm here.
Yeah, there you go. The second thing I will let you know before you get any further is that this is going to be a spoiler talk about three different films. So maybe if you either don't care or would like to not get spoiled on these three movies I'm about to list, you should leave like now. After you hear the three movies. Until Dawn. We're gonna be talking complete spoilers on Until Dawn. We're gonna be talking complete spoilers on the Thunderbolts. We're
Should
gonna be
we give them
talking.
a new title as well, just in case, because they did
Nope,
change
no
it?
need because we're
Okay.
trying to avoid that. But it's fine. It's still called the Thunderbolts either way. We're also doing spoilers on Sinners. So if any of those three movies interest you, or you care at all about any of those three movies, I would say you should go. Now, you can always just not care and just want to dip out on like certain parts, or if you've seen two of them and just want to dip out on certain parts. We don't know what order we're gonna go in, is what I'm just saying. So, like, be careful if you want to proceed forward. But I would recommend seeing all three of those movies before traversing into this. I think that's a fair warning. You've been warned. I'll just go over the titles again in case you need them. It is um Until Dawn, Thunderbolts, and Sinners. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it. All right. So I guess the first one we'll talk about is Until Dawn, which you mentioned doing. So we'll just knock that one out the way real quick.
Mhm.
So Until Dawn was fun. I think it was fun. I think it was a vibe, right? It's not the greatest movie ever. I don't think it's the greatest horror movie, even close. Um,
Well, I wouldn't. I would say, like, would you consider yourself much of a horror fan?
to be fair, I'm not much of a horror fan. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I did have a fun time. It did spook me a little bit. I've Best way I can describe it is I like horror games and I like survival horror games, but like horror movies, I have to be in the mood for them. Best way I can describe it. Not my usual jam, but I can still enjoy them. Um, I watched a bunch of the Paranormal Activity movies. Obviously, that's like take it here or leave it. Watch a bunch of thrillers. I'm trying to think. We've watched the one that you and Jones were watching that one time. That was really good.
Malignant, yes. Okay,
Yeah,
Malignant is a horror, but it's a horror thriller because it gets like ridiculous at the end. We
it
enjoyed
does.
it for we enjoyed it for the wrong reasons. See, and me and Jones, I would say we're considered like the horror fans of the group because we do indulge in horror films quite a bit here.
Yeah.
Um,
We also
and that
watched
could
what was it? The Evil Dead
oh
too.
brain
I remember Evil Dead.
evil. We watched Evil Dead. No, Brain Dead is what I showed you guys. The one with the kung fu priest.
Oh yeah, that one was crazy. Yeah, no, that was funny though. That was fun. That's
Yeah,
different. That's not horror. You did show us that one. That one's not horror. That one's just funny. It's horror
yeah,
themed.
exactly. So it's horror and comedy works really well together, and I do appreciate that for there. But in terms of actual horror stuff, we do enjoy quite a few things, but like a lot of things, and we're kind of a bit of a hipster opinion on this, but we do think like horror, especially when it comes franchise wise, got stale pretty fucking fast. Like we saw the new Alien stuff, we saw new Predator, the new Prey movie was cool. Alien Covenant was enjoyable, though like I said, I thought it was just a rehash of old hits, type of
Mm.
deal. So that's why me and Jones were very apprehensive of doing like, oh, they're doing an Until Dawn horror movie. Why?
No, I was right with there with you in the same boat where I was like, this movie is already kind of well a movie, so
Yeah,
doing an
here's the
adaptation of
thing.
that seems
It's
really
it's
unnecessary.
less of like the Last of Us argument where because like the Last of Us I know it's mostly just a heavy narrative story with some gameplay
Mm.
aspects. Until Dawn plays exactly like a slash. The only thing is you get to choose who picks and chooses and dies. That's it. Like
Yeah, and
there's
by
very
default, I
little
was
difference.
thinking, yeah, it would be a significantly worse experience of the original story. Now, but as we know, they're not telling a verbatim story, and they're not actually telling the story of Until Dawn, the game, at all.
No, not
Which,
all. Yeah,
to be honest,
which
kudos. on them.
Which I mean, like I was thinking, like if they're because when I heard they announced that they're making an Until Dawn movie, like, so are you going to use the same cast members from the game because they're all still
I
alive?
mean, that's true. They could have, but they decided to not use any of the plot lines, sort of, quote unquote, from Until Dawn. One of the main things I will go into is about that. This is a prequel. This is a prequel, and it takes place in the same world. Like,
Yep.
there's pictures of the cast that exists. That's like there, right?
Yeah.
And the end of the film does. I mean, big spoiler, but kind of big spoiler. But the end of the film obviously hints at the fact of, oh, the video game is right over there.
Yeah. Yep. Which also plays into a bigger project narrative because this also goes into well, a little bit of spoilers of the Until Dawn video game. Should I talk about this? And that game's old as shit now.
I mean, that
That's
game's old, so I think we should be good. Just, I
okay.
mean, we already said Until Dawn spoilers in general.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about the game, obviously, because of the fact that we're also talking about the movie. It's gonna happen because the two exist. So,
So this one's particularly from the recent remaster that came out remaster last year because they added actual content to that one there.
Yeah.
So the secret ending appears that actually there's a massive time skip between the events of the game and then in the end credit scene where Sam, one of the main characters from the game, survives in the hotel room and something spooky happens and they're like, oh, okay, so we're actually skipping forward in time, and I'm guessing that's what they were trying to tie into with the film. Honestly, since I don't believe that they succeeded that well, but I don't know what their plans are exactly. Since
maybe, well, what the thing is that the okay, so I don't remember exactly how the game handled, well, the therapist, right? Like, I don't remember how they handled him.
I can tell you that. I can tell you that. So the therapist character, Peter Stormare, I love that actor. He's a Swedish dude who plays Russian people all the fucking time. But essentially, what he does is it's just a demon in Rami Malek, one of the main characters, one of the characters from the game, who after his sisters died in the game, he went insane essentially, and he's been talking to this therapist. The therapist has taken this like entity in his mind, accusing him and making him do decisions. That's why when you go through the game and you see the guy, you make these choices like what makes you fearful, why would you do this,
and
all
it
that
changes the result of everything.
Yeah, to a degree, yeah.
Well, yeah, to a degree. It's slight things here and there.
Yeah, but the therapist himself isn't an actual character. It's all mostly in his head.
Okay.
Oh, also one last detail change. One of the best in the best ending of the game, the Rami Malek's character survives, becomes a Wendigo. In the remaster, if you succeed in getting the best ending, he doesn't get turned into a Wendigo.
Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. In this game, they play around fast and loose with the idea of the therapist being the fact that he is an entity that exists. And it is very Silent Hill in nature. Like, this is the best way I could possibly describe it. Mm-hmm. Where in this film, much same situation where, we have a sister that went missing up in this area around a certain time. As opposed to the cast of the original Until Dawn being up there and being like, oh yeah, we lost her that time we went to the trip and now we're taking a trip back. The idea is that this gang is trying to retrace their lost friend / sister's path, because she went up here and never came back, and they're just kind of like, she's been gone for like a while now, but like it's been a long time. It took a long time to get over stuff, but we wanted to just make sure. They went up there to what was supposed to be a quote unquote therapeutic way of dealing with her problems, of just retracing her steps and just going like, hey man, like this is.
And then became
it's been a year, so to speak, since he disappeared.
It's a memorial trip, yeah. That's what also the original game did, because the sisters disappeared, and so the friends came back up to the cabin to, do stuff.
Now, the thing is that obviously, while most of the group is like, hey, this is meant to be kind of a memorial trip. It's us being together for the first time since everything happened. Like, we've, been around and been there for each other, but haven't been able to, like, really get away and just process it, right? The sister is still looking for her, despite the fact that it's been over a year and she really shouldn't be around anymore.
I didn't recognize any of the cast members in the film outside of the main hero chick, because that's the same main character chick from the Hellraiser remake.
And what I'll say about this movie is that it keeps the similar idea of, hey, we're going up to this location
Yeah.
because someone's missing, but everything else is completely different about the plot and everything as to
Yeah,
why
like, especially like the slasher and death things, because they do like the Happy Death Day and Groundhog Day, where if everyone dies, it gets reset, and like different ways of death happens, like different creatures, different slashes. Like so, they kind of do a mix of like Happy Death Day, Groundhog Day, and a little bit of Cabin in the Woods, where Cabin in the Woods was like a love letter to horror films, and a bunch of different fucking creatures comes out and kill people.
So the deal is that once there's a rainstorm that happens at some point, and they hit a crossroad, essentially going to this old house that exists up there.
Yeah, that's Evil Dead right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally, it's raining, and then in this area it is not, and they cross over, and it's like, that's weird. Why is it not? It went from like heavy rain, like you can't see, to okay, it cleared up, and I was like, I have the storm type beat, right? But it's like kind of sort of, right?
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they get into this location, they sign their name, they do a bunch of little things that kind of put them around the house at the same time. The clock starts, and the moment that happens, we start getting this is the checkpoint area, right? And the deal is what they do that's a little different is because this location is based a lot on our main character's fears and a little bit of everyone else's that's kind of mixed in there. But it's her trauma being brought and bubbling up, and the therapist is used as this entity slash antagonistic figure that seems to know what's going on here, but they can't seem to get a hold of him because he usually pops up right when they died, or the last person is about to take their final breath. Essentially, he pulls up, gives a little speech, and then dips, right? But it's constantly him playing this elusive game with them throughout the film, while they're constantly trying to figure out what the hell are we supposed to do, like to get out of this, essentially. Because the first time around, it's the killer, it's the exact killer that's in
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, yeah.
They never gave it a name of the slasher, but it's like it's that guy that one of the characters becomes for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's walking around, and he's very Jason-esque, actually. It seems like you can't really do much to him. They do eventually are able to overcome him when they like really, really lock in to fight him, but like it takes a lot. It's like one of those situations where it's like, you guys probably could have did this in the beginning, but like there was no way you could have known you could have did this in the beginning until you guys just was like, fuck it, like
died a bunch of times.
Because like there's situations where he gets stabbed or like hit with stuff before, and he just shakes it off, and it's like, yeah, you know what? I can understand why you guys would not try to fight him again. Like, it just doesn't seem worth it. In fact, in the first part of the movie, it's him systematically killing all of them, right? Like the first little chunk. And it's like first he kills the new guy, the boyfriend, who's a therapist. He's a therapist. He's studying it. He's studying psychology, and he's like, I'm being honest. This whole idea is trash. I'm also going to say this about this character because it's hilarious. He's the only one. The cast treats him like a dick, and you might even think you might want to treat him like a dick too. But he's the only one speaking sense, low key, at the same time. Like some of the things he's saying is like a little like, damn man, like that's kind of rough. But also it's like, hey bro, if we listen to what he's saying, maybe we get out of here a lot faster. Maybe we just avoid a bunch of problems a lot sooner. The characters do make some dumb decisions, obviously, but like
what horror movie does not?
You're kind of allowed to make dumb horror movie decisions when you get to come back. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. It's like you have an idea of like, oh, I'm alive again. Like, okay, I get to do this. Like, it's like literally this trial and error type of deal.
Yeah. So like there's like a moment, for instance, that I thought was like kind of stupid because like one of the characters gets possessed and killed, but she tells them, there's like, don't let it in the house. Don't let it in the house, right? And then gets murked. And it's unfortunate, but like at the same time, it's like everyone else is like, okay, don't let it in the house. And then it starts speaking like the sister. And she's like, I gotta go. And everybody's like, bro, it's so obvious this is not her. She literally just told us not to do it.
Yep.
And so they open the door, well, she eventually fights them off and like opens the door to see no one except for like a house across the street, and you're like, bruh. And
Yep, and like she
and
gets
you hear the
possessed.
door close because you hear the door close over there, and it like she gets screams like she go like they. So obviously she's like, I gotta go chase after my sister because she obviously got dragged over there. I gotta go there, and everybody's like, are you bugging? Are you dumb? Like, bro, this place sucks. Like, clearly this is not the move.
Any horror movie protagonists, any horror movie actually characters, he's usually done with a lot of choices.
She's the protagonist. It's so she's like trying to run over there. She's like, I gotta go save her, right? Like I gotta go do it. And you have the dude that's in love with her that like wants
Right.
like kind of them to kind of work things out. And he gets ready to follow him, and then like our psychiatrist character essentially grabs him and goes like, bro, what are you doing? Like, we told her everything we could. If she wants to go over there and die, that's on her.
That's on her. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the rest.
But we need to leave because we either need to go and get help or do something that's going to allow us to come back and deal with this situation. But right now, if we do stupid stuff like that, we're going to keep getting killed. And he's like, no, man, I have to. He's like, he says a dick thing because he's like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove? You trying to make it so that y'all could be together again or something? Like what? And everybody looks at him like, wow, what a dick thing to say. Why would you say that? Like they went through a bad breakup. I'm like, that's not the point. Like saving her right now doesn't do anything because it's like, what are you doing? Like, she made a dumb decision that we told her not to do on multiple occasions. She had a ghost tell her not to do it, and she still did it.
Let dumb people do dumb things.
But that one was funny to me. I was laughing at that because they're like, nah. But I think partway through you get to realize how fucked their situation truly is because they have a lot of good like, oh, fuck kind of moments. For instance, one of them is that they go to like the psychiatrist friend that I was mentioning before. Him and his girlfriend are like, we need to leave. Like, we get help, everything. Like, we can bring people back, and maybe we can like save them.
Out of this,
leave this place and get help. So they get in the car, they drive. They're going through because the rainstorm is still like having that weird rain wall situation, right? So they drive.
They can't get out. Yeah, type of deal.
And it's going, and I'm gonna tell you this, Pele. Then they see this giant, I don't know what the fuck, humanoid creature out in the distance with glowing eyes, and they hit the hardest. All right, cool. We just going back. Like we just going the hardest future. They saw it, was like, nope. Just gonna hit that real quick and go backwards. And I was like, what a good reason. Like, I wish there's a lot of stuff that happens in this film that I wish that they could talk about more. But it's very clear that it's meant to be like situations that are like, nope, this place is fucks. Like, for instance, the Wendigo situation that we know from both games is still a thing. But in this game, in this movie, it is something that progressively happens to them the more they keep having to restart. Right. So the deal is that if they keep, like, there is a limit to how many times they can do it. It's just not clear as to when the limit is. It's just like...
Yes, but I know that there's a section in the film where that they hit that limit, thus everything becomes more serious.
They get to a point where they're like, bro, I don't... Well, what it was is, everyone in the book has X amount of
telemarks
signatures in it, right?
Yeah.
So like they saw that their sister, like the one that went missing, she had her own like signatures in the books, and you watch as they get progressively worse and worse over time, right? They do hit a point where they're looking at it being like, I don't think we have many more left. Basically, after a certain point, it's like we really don't. And admittedly, the group does get kind of used to just being like, look, we can run it back. And I think it's actually really cool because the way this movie works, it is elusive to, or it alludes to like the perfect run in Until Dawn, where it's like, damn, we lost somebody, you gotta run the game back, right? And they work on that. Like, it becomes a goal because after a certain point, the characters are like, okay, if we can restart, then there's no way that we leave anybody behind. We have to leave with everyone intact. Like, we came here with everyone. We're not leaving with anyone. We're not leaving without anyone. We can't afford to do that. Not when we have the ability to do this. But they kind of take it for granted. And there's a really good scene in the movie where after so many, they start to kind of, their memories gets a bit hazy. So there's a moment where it's like it's a hard cut where they're like, we gotta run it back one more time, right? And it's supposed to just be one more time, and to get the perfect run, just leave, right?
Yeah.
It's hard cuts, and everybody's feeling a little weird, and things are looking weird, and they're looking a little different, and they're like, okay, what happened? We were supposed to do it one more time, right? Why do we feel so bad? And then, like, the psychiatrist friend looks at him, he's like, I don't think we ran it back one more time. And he's looking, because he's like, they recorded a bunch of, like, there's like a bunch of recordings of them going through videos, like, on their phones of, like, the other runs that they did. And it's like, it went from, like, oh yeah, we've only done, like, what, like, 4? We've done like 4 of them. We should be on like 5 or 6 by now, right? Nah, dude, you did like 20. And it's just, you're looking at the stuff in there, like in this montage, that you're like, I kind of wish we got to see more of that. What is that? But like, it's a montage of like stuff that's just like crazy. Like, there's one where there's like a siren thing where they're like, don't look at it. And she looks at it and she's like, what the hell is that? And her eyes are bleeding and everything like that. You're like, I kind of wish we saw what happened on that one.
I think it's mostly just like teaser stuff, because one thing I know that Sony's going to go for this, because they're doing it for a lot of their properties, is making movies out of it, because they finally gave up on the Spider-Man thing, so they finally focused on video game movies. Yeah, because we got the Uncharted stuff, we got this, we're getting Horizon, and yeah.
And in that scene, it's like, it's interesting because there's like one where like there was this mask at the end of the hallway, like in like a robe, and like you watch as it looks at them and they're like, yo, what's up with that? And then it goes from like being at the end of the hallway to engulfing the entire hallway up to them, while they're like freaking out and trying to run away from it because they're like, yo, what the fuck?
I think a lot of the creatures and things with like supermassive games, like concept ideas that never came to fruition. Question: do you remember seeing like any like nurse with a messed up face? Because I don't remember.
I think there might have been, but I don't remember. If anything, it would have been in the montage, and it probably wouldn't have been a notable one out of some of the crazier stuff that they had in there. If I'm being honest, yeah.
Because I was trying to remember, like, because I know it's Until Dawn, and it's especially referencing the first game, but I wonder if they had any like creatures like referencing the Dark Pictures stuff, but I don't think they did.
They might have. It's not an impossibility. I'm not familiar with the rest of the Dark Pictures anthology's monsters. I just haven't seen them.
Any werewolves like from the quarry, because that's also super massive.
I think there was a werewolf. I think there might have been a werewolf. But yeah, no, it is werewolves for the quarry and stuff like that. But like, they play around with that. The killer is for some reason in each of these scenarios, regardless. But like, those scenarios are increasingly fucked in some instances.
I love the fact that the slasher is still like the focus, despite him not being the true, even remotely close killer in the game.
The way they play around with it, it's like, yeah, no, each run introduces a completely different threat, but also the killer's here too. Yeah. And I'm like, that sucks. Your best chance of getting out of the situation was the first one. And y'all took out the killer when y'all first had the chance. It just gets so much worse in comparison. Because it's like, oh yeah, deal with this Lovecraftian threat, and also the killer's here, or there's a Wendigo invasion, but also
hold on, we just got invaded. Leon, this is a very spoiler heavy episode, so just giving you a heads up, we're talking about spoilers for Until Dawn, Sinners, and Thunderbolts.
I would argue you know nothing about any of these.
Yes.
I do not.
All right.
So would you like to still stay and talk about them, because we will spoil a lot of stuff here.
We're literally talking about those movies.
Damn. I don't think I care.
You don't care? Okay. We'll continue on.
All right. The other thing about this is I think it does a really cool job at messing around with it. And obviously they confront him like the therapist that exists at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
with
I
the
still think that's a weird focus because, like I said before, the therapist wasn't the focus of the original game.
no, he's not, but they play it up like he's, like I said, an entity that keeps appearing, and he's part of the reason why things are the way they are, like why their fears are being brought. It's very Silent Hill, like with the
Hmm.
way that it's being treated. Like the therapist isn't exactly like, it's not like he's the reason it's happening. He's the focus in which he's the medium in which whatever the fuck is going on communicates to them. So like it's the best way I could describe it. So it's like he's not the end all be all, and he's obviously has like stuff like he's like, for instance, he has files on
He's
uh
the yeah.
on not Remick, what did you call his name from Until
Well,
Dawn?
I forget the character's name, but it's played by the actor Rami Malek.
Yeah,
So
Rami Malek's character is literally, he has a file on his desk about him.
yeah.
It's one of those things that's like the movie does a really cool job at just doing little peeks and nods to go like, you saw that? That's from Until Dawn. You know that thing over there? That's
Yeah.
it. It's right there.
Josh, that's his name. Josh.
Yes,
that was
Josh. So like Josh is there on the desk, like sitting, like he has the files and stuff on the desk and stuff like that, and like they beat him, quote unquote, and get out in time, but like it doesn't matter because he's not real, especially since like the way they beat him is like
Yeah.
brutal, and you're like, oh no, he can't be real because he can't come back from that.
No, he's not real for sure.
From that.
I was actually wondering if they were going to reference the other parts of the Until Dawn because, like, you also have to remember Until Dawn is not a solo title. There has
no.
3 sequels.
Technically, yeah, which is implies how fucked the world is in general. Because like you said,
To a degree, because the sequels are solely VR games.
true, you're not wrong. But that's a weird. I thought you meant like more so the other.
No, not the Dark Pictures of Corey. I'm
Pictures
talking about legit games connected to the same game type of deal.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's the prequel game, The Impatient, which just tells the story of how the Wendigos came to be, so on and so forth. And 2 roller coaster shooting games that you actually play as. Yeah. Mhm. Those are fun, but yeah.
They're fun, but it's nothing crazy. The Impatient sounds actually super interesting. I kind of want to go look into that one. But they play around with that actually. They like have some of the videos and stuff like that talking about the Wendigo situation initially and everything with that too. Like they do play around with the lore and stuff of the world. It's just, and it fits. It feels like it fits in, especially with the way that they're trying to make it seem of like I said, with this more. It's the place that's doing this to people, not so much the like a person.
Yeah.
And, like, how it
They.
could
I mean,
pop
that
up
was
in different places.
Yeah, well, the whole thing popping up different places thing angle is definitely new because that wasn't the focus on the last one, but it was because how the Wendigo curse operates in the original Until Dawn game was like the Wendigo, there's an evil spirit in the mountain, they dug into the mountain, it unleashed the curse, and thus people just started becoming more cannibalistic. Yeah.
And so the idea was that like it still focused on that. There was a town that existed here that doesn't exist anymore, and those spirits now like wander and haunt this place, and like the more people that get brought here and trapped, like the sister that we get to see, we kind of get to see, the sister that like disappeared, she is a Wendigo at this point, like, and she became one because of going through the process, but like it plays around with it in an interesting way. It's like wherever this place is, the veil itself is kind of like a little bit looser, and because of that, and because like you bring in traumas and are fucked up in a way, it plays with that kind of in that kind of way. So it's interesting. I like it as an expansion on Until Dawn and how like a lot of the mechanics in Until Dawn like work as like mechanics as in like the world mechanics, not really like the gameplay stuff. I was like, I kind of like it in that kind of aspect of like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool way of expanding how this thing could work, kind of like how they've been doing with Silent Hill a little bit recently, where it's like, oh yeah, it's not just the location anymore. It keeps
a curse,
spreading. Yeah, it's just
the
a
fog
curse that's affecting
spreads,
the world.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, except it's not so much just being like, oh, the Wendigo curse is what's spreading. It's like whatever this trauma that is affecting people seems to be what gets its attention. If that makes any sense. And it's not so much that it has to be that the therapist is the entity, but it's like I said, it's the medium in which it speaks to who, like, the protagonist or whoever is being dealt with. Which I do want to point out, I think I was about to say she's the only one that actually sees him, but that's not true. Other characters can see him, but they're all being affected by the whole, like, rewind crap anyway,
Yeah.
and they all have been affected by the loss of this person. So, it works. There's actually one thing I want to talk about right before we switch up to the next one. And Pele, they have a really good... They actually reach a point where they start doing smart things. Like, one of the solutions just straight up is like, bro, all of us just have to survive to the end of the night, right? He's like, yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna lock ourselves in this bathroom. We're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything. We're chilling here. And if Mr. Killer Guy comes in, we'll jump him because we're all here. We got weapons and everything. We're ready. Everybody's sitting. Everybody's chilling. Everybody's talking. Everybody's drinking. Like, they get a glass of water. And then the water just makes them explode.
Yeah, that's like I thought that was hilarious when I saw that. Like,
I was like, brother.
Okay, that was done for comedy because there's no way in hell that would have been serious. Like, okay, yeah, that works.
Here's the thing: they play it up. It's such a shock because it works. It's not. It's good at surprising you because it's very unexpected when it happens. But the deal is that you're drinking water and, like, slowly someone is coughing a lot, right? And you're like, okay. And then after a while, you're like, oh, the water's poison, isn't it? And you're like, and he coughs up, like, what looks like supposed to be, like, I guess, some sort of blood mixed with phlegm type beat, right? Mm-hmm. To make it look like it's unhealthy. And you're like, that's not good. He wipes it off, but he doesn't tell anybody. So I was personally expecting them to kind of be chilling, go to sleep, and then hard wake up where they were supposed to be, where it's like, oh, damn, what happened? Like, we died in our sleep somehow. It's like, how the fuck did that happen? But, like, no, they just exploded. And this one character, I forget what her name is, but it's the only Asian girl in the entire film. Because she's just this little Asian girl. She gets it so bad throughout this. Like, granted, everyone gets to come back to life, but, like, almost all of her deaths are rough. Like, they're so much worse. The exploding one, the first dude that it happens to just explodes. The second dude that happens to just explodes. Like, they're just gone, right? Like, instantly. Like, for her, parts of her body explode, and it's like her leg goes, and then, like, a part of her gut, and, like, her arm, and I'm like, why is she getting it so bad in comparison to everybody else? And then I talked about before, when
the curse is racist. That's
why. The curse is racist. The killer, when the killer kills everyone else in the house, everyone else gets kind of wrecked in like a, oh, that's rough, buddy. But, like,
yeah, straightforward way, yeah.
You're just kind of dead, right? Like, one of the friends, the one that, like, is in love with the main character, quote unquote, stabbed in the eye, and I'm like, oh, that's rough, man. Like, you're done, but, like, that's it for you. One of them gets cut in half pretty early, another one gets slashed through the neck, right? Yep. And, like, for some reason, she gets grabbed. Like, dude comes in to a place in which he can see both. There's two people hiding in here, right? There is I believe it's our main protagonist girl, and then you have the Asian girl who hid in the closet, right? Yep. He walks up, opens the closet, grabs her, and starts pounding her head against the ground constantly, while she is, like, able to look and see her friend who was hiding behind the door. One of the worst hiding spots ever, but it worked. And she's like, help me, please. Like, you're watching him. She's watching her friend just stand there watching her be beaten to death on the ground. And I'm like, why is she getting it so bad?
I imagine the killer. Oh, there's an Asian there? Oh, fantastic. My favorite. Ooh.
I'm like, damn. And a part of me looks at this
fun things with her.
And this was what's funny, but, like, I was looking at it and I'm like, was she I mean, like, if they originally planned to, like, remake the movie, right?
Yeah.
Was she originally planned to be, was it Lucy? Was her name?
No, I know the chick you're talking about. She was a cunt in. I'll say it out loud. Yeah, the character you're thinking of was a cunt in the original game. Starts with an M. I have to look that up here.
Oh, bro, but I was looking at that and I was like, if she was originally cast for that makes a lot more sense as to why she gets it so bad. But her character's so sweet in this in comparison that I'm like, bro, why is she getting cooked like this? She's just getting
Emily,
cooked.
that's her name. Emily was such a cunt in that game, man.
Bro.
Yeah.
She's such a bitch. She's such a bitch. But I'm like, this character doesn't even deserve it. She's the one that gets possessed also, by the way, and gets her neck snapped like in like 5 seconds into the next run. And I was like, bruh. She gets possessed and neck snapped immediately. I'm like, this is the second run. She's dead already.
Oh, the guy who directed this did Shazam. Oh,
that's fun.
Yeah, that explains a lot. Both Shazams.
That's fun. I like both Shazams. Actually, I feel like Shazam kind of went a little bit underrated.
His horror takes, he did Lights Out from 2013 and Annabelle Creation, which is the better Annabelle film.
That's true. But from there we'll move on to Thunderbolts. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, Thunderbolts. How'd you feel about it, Billy?
I quite enjoyed it. Been a while since I actually was enjoyed myself for the film. I was easily apprehensive at the beginning because I was still a bit burned from Phase 5 and didn't have great stuff, and I was apprehensive with after Captain America. Like, I know it was also enjoyable for it, but I just did not. Just having all the Hulk stuff still turned me off quite a bit. Not to mention the fact that when you saw the Thunderbolts lineup, like you got Yelena, a spy. You got Red Guardian, a super soldier. You got U.S. Agent, another super soldier. You got Bucky Barnes, another super soldier. Yeah, you got Ghost, a ghost, and female Taskmaster, the worst version adaptation we've seen so far in the MCU. And like this this lineup does not encourage me very well.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw this movie, I had low bar. I'm like, bro, what is this roster?
Remember the joke from the Suicide Squad? Wait, you said you picked up each of us by individual capabilities. He does the exact same thing I do, but better. And that's like Red Guardian with Winter Soldier and USA. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
I'm just like, bruh. I'm like, what is this roster, bruh? What is this roster? And then obviously we got to a point in which I'm like, okay, what are you even fighting? Because depending on what we're fighting, I could understand this. And then they said Sentry.
Like, this is not going to work at all.
I was like, they said the Void was the issue. And I was like, how? I have to watch this movie to find out how, at least. Like, that's how I felt about it. I was like, this sounds like such a bad idea, but I have no clue how they're dealing with this.
That was this, despite the game being shit, that was the concept for Suicide Squad, the game, where it had King Shark, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and Captain Boomerang against the entire Justice League.
And they said against the entire Justice League. And I was like, that's okay. All right. They also managed to do some weird things with that. Technically, it worked itself out. The only person that's alive, everyone is fine. Everyone's okay except for Wonder Woman. Don't you love it?
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that.
That was such a cop-out is what it was, but I knew going into this, like, there's no way in hell, especially since, like, this was confirmed to be Kevin Conroy's Batman, like, okay, you're just pissing us all off.
It's the Arkham Batman, too. I was like, nah,
yes.
Not gonna be. Yeah, it's Kevin Conroy's Batman, but it's also Arkham Batman. I'm like, this is not the end of this character.
They can't be the end of this character. Don't do them like this. I was listening, you can put a memorial for him in the game, like, you gotta be shitting me after we just shot him in the fucking head on a bench, like, no.
Which is why it works itself out in a way of which it's like, no, it's fine. Like, we managed to save the originals, except for Wonder Woman, because we let her die for some reason. Not really sure how I feel about that one.
I mean, I think the Arkhamverse, well, no, we got Arkham, Batman VR 2, so I think the Arkhamverse
maybe, you know what? I just thought about this, something I didn't consider. Maybe, considering this is supposed to be all in the same world, maybe we were supposed to play... That was supposed to be what the Wonder Woman game was, which was her coming back from the dead, possibly. That could have been that. And I don't know. But we'll never know now.
Yep.
They canceled that game, and that sucks. But, to get back on topic, though.
Yeah.
They put Sentry as the main villain, and everybody was like, all right, how are we dealing with that?
Yep.
how,
So
how is Shooting McShoot Squad dealing with this?
because they dealt with it like they kind of did in the comics a little bit, where it's all about personal dealing with it versus actual punching things.
Yes,
All the way
which is
through.
something that some people get really annoyed at, but I actually think that that's a
It
cool
works.
way of
No,
solving problems.
yeah, it works. It works for this situation, especially since like Yelena is the main protagonist in this one, and she's like the heart of the group and everything like that. So that works out pretty well. I will say this though, since I know the circumstance was just them being forced together because Contessa wanted to get rid of them to cut loose ends. I thought because we did make this a joke, like, oh, Taskmaster, the most respectable character in the MCU, gets unceremoniously killed off because this is MCU's versus Suicide Squad. There's always gonna be one character killed off, and like of all the characters on this list, like who do we hate the most? Taskmaster, shot in the face.
I knew someone was gonna die, bro. I thought it was gonna be Red Guardian. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not surprised it's Taskmaster because everyone hates it. But also, like you said before, stun ceremony. Just get shot in the head. Just shot in the head.
Yep,
in
easily.
like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
10 minutes, I would say.
10 minutes? Is it 10 minutes of the movie? Just shot in the head, and you're like, wow, okay, you're dead.
Yeah,
you're done. And then they start robbing her body. Like the other characters.
Like, I want this gun.
It's like, brother, come on, man. Like,
I want this gun. I want this sword. Yes, like, this is so stupid.
That's actually kind of hilarious.
You know, it is funny, but like, it's also interesting because like you have literal reject characters from sources that are not exactly like. Here's the thing: the only character from the entire roster that people actually remember very well is Bucky. People don't remember.
Yelena's actually probably the only other one that's like favorable in this. I think
favorable, yes, to a degree, but because Ghost came from the second Ant-Man movie, which it's been a long time since then, and
it's not a bad movie, but
and 3 characters come from Black Widow, which is not a good example.
Yeah.
Because Yelena, we saw her in Hawkeye, that she was cool. We did not have seen Red Guardian since Black Widow.
It's true.
But David Harbour's awesome, so like I gave him a pass on that one. He was
one of the better parts of that movie. I'm not gonna lie, he was fun.
Yeah, he was very fun. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, no, it's like I was apprehensive, especially since like when Sentry finally came in and they had the actual fist fight. I'm like, you're all gonna get cooked. You're just all gonna get cooked.
They actually decided to film a proper scene of like, hey, how would a fight against him work? And it's like, yeah, no, that's about right. They just get washed.
Mm-hmm.
They're tactically retreating at the end of this. They're like, we have to go. And I'm like, yeah.
Yep. Like, nothing phases him. They literally just backhand everybody and just toss them and other things. That, like, or uses telekinesis and just knocks them the fuck back. Bent US Agent's shield. I know it's not vibranium, but still into a taco.
They really did. He couldn't bend it back either. He's not strong enough.
Nope.
And then they have Bucky get serious, who is probably the most capable member there.
Yep.
He's seen the
most experience for sure. Most experience for sure.
Goes in. He has this moment where he goes in, and it does not matter. It is.
Nope. As a super soldier with over 100 years of experience, yeah, you're not gonna beat Superman, man.
It's just not happening. He rips off Bucky's arm and hits him with it, and I'm like, damn, bro, that's disrespectful. Why we had to disrespect my boy like this? It's cool.
That's what you get for being congressman.
Yeah. Get out of here, Congressman Barnes. Should have kept being the Winter Soldier. It's the only way you would have stopped him. Not true at all. He couldn't have did anything. But still.
Absolutely.
And then, and that's just them dealing with the Sentry. The whole deal with that fight is that, he doesn't actually want to hurt him.
No.
He's just contesting them.
Yeah. He was just testing them because he was being controlled and trained a little bit by Contessa, who's the main real villain of her. She's like she's essentially the Amanda Waller of the MCU at the moment, where she gets all these people together because she wants to have her own control and be in control of the next group of heroes, essentially being in power.
She's so unlikable. It's so funny how unlikable she is.
She's unlikable with a funny twist because at least Amanda Waller is stonewalling. She's laughing the entire time.
Yeah, that makes her more unlikable. I think I prefer Amanda Waller's. Just I don't give a fuck what you think.
Well, I think Amanda Waller's better. I think she's more badass. Like,
Oh yeah, no, for
but
sure. Because
yeah,
anyone who can stone face Superman or Batman and be like, I don't give a shit. Know all you want. Like I'm doing what I'm gonna do.
yep.
You know what? Knowing that they're a normal ass person, it's fine. You're good. You got it.
Yeah. And then you have Contessa De Fontaine who just insults you to your face, like a little bit like Tony Stark to a degree, but like this doesn't feel as convincing though.
She's also got a lot of balls on her for talking a lot of shit to people who
Can rip her right off.
most of that team have no problem shooting her in the face and walking away. They will not lose a wink of sleep.
Nope.
they
Absolutely
would be
not.
fine. 90% of that team would be like, pop, all right, we're done here.
Why are we listening to it? Just shoot her in the fucking face.
Just do it.
Here's the thing: they never got a chance to get closer until the end of the film.
End of the film is funny too.
Okay, that's understandable.
They-
That's understandable.
But we'll go into the Void stuff first. So then that's just him dealing with Sentry. Then he became the Void.
The Void
was that,
is a problem. Okay, so
Him
the
as the
Sentry
Void's
exists.
crazy.
Yeah, so we have to explain what the Sentry is capable of. The Sentry exists as a Superman copy of essentially for the Marvel verse. He has pretty much all the powers of Superman. Telekinetic, superpower, can fly, has the power of millions blowing suns. That's the whole spiel.
Deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a balance to that because as soon as he remembers who he is and who's the Sentry, his ultimate personality, all his negative emotions, the Void comes into fruition, and he, well, in the movie anyway, pretty much drags everybody into a never-ending hold of depression. Literally,
Yeah, which is very different from what the Void normally is, but
Yeah.
it's fine because it works. Also, the depiction of it makes it seem, admittedly, a lot worse than it actually is.
because there's no escaping it. You get sucked in, and you have to figure out how to deal with it out.
Oh yeah, but like in the trailer, it looks like he's just shadow marking people across the ground.
Yeah, because the one time we see like Gary Guardian saves people, saves a little girl, then she gets murked, and it's like,
Oh,
fuck!
dude, they did such a good one with that one, bro. Red Guardian
Like,
saves,
no!
It's the way it happens too. Red Guardian saves a little, like, it's literally a giant piece of debris falling on this little girl. Red Guardian hops out the way because they've already done like the cheering and everything for them. They're like, oh yeah, heroes. This debris falls. Red Guardian hops out the way. He eats that shit. Like, he just puts his back up and, like, eats what is essentially a boulder landing on him. He's just like, nah, this little girl's safe. I don't care. And he's like, it's okay, little one. Go on. Go be with your parents. And, like, while she's in his arms, she just gets evaporated. Shadowed. She is a mark on the ground. She is
Yeah.
skin. And
Also,
it's
in terms of like parental trauma, because like as soon, like not even like a few minutes afterwards, he sees his other actual daughter gets wiped away too.
And you're just looking at that being like, brother.
Like as a parent, he is like traumatized for a long ass time.
And so that happens. And you're just
Honest
sitting
to
there
God, hearing this, I just hear Ahmani having more content for Twin Skies now.
So here's the problem, though. In Twin Skies, this would kill you.
There is no shadow realm here, Leon. You can't just simply hop in and out
No,
of it. Like,
I know.
willy-nilly.
I figured that. I just imagine Ahmani be like, all right, so you meet a god and he flips you. Just goodbye.
It's crazy because it looks like the way it visually looks to me as if like you ever seen like the shadow effect that happens to people after they get nuked. Actually,
Yeah.
like that's what it reminds me of. What he's doing to these people, and so like originally in the trailer, you're seeing that and you're like, that is such a problem. How are they going? Like, how are they going to deal with that? Because in the comics, he can't. I mean, like he's super powerful. It's not really stopping him from doing something like that with like his.
Yeah, no, Sentry is classified as
like that.
Sentry is classified as one of the most powerful characters in Marvel.
Yeah, like there's ways he can do it, right? But like him just lifting his hand and going like, "All right, now you're a skid mark." That's new. I'm like, so you just don't exist anymore. And I was like, huh? So, like, seeing that in this, I was like, I think that they did a really cool thing with the idea of the Void being all of his negative emotions and all of, like, that part of him. Because Fontaine is so stupid that, like, when other characters who... the secretary, by the way, is supposed to be Songbird, by the way. I didn't know that. I found that
That
out
was
later.
wait, she's Songbird?
Mm-hmm. So that's gonna be fun. I hope that actually plays out nice. I like her so far as, like, as an actress. So I think she was kind of cool in this. But, she's looking at her going like, bro, like, you give the super soldier serum to like Captain America, well, to Steve Rogers, and he becomes Captain America because like he's a good person and
Yeah.
mentally stable. I don't know what happens if you give the super soldier serum to someone like Bob, who
We had three
has
examples.
a history of mental
Yeah, we have
issues
3 examples of that
and
super
was
soldier
on meth
serum.
at some point.
Yeah. Well, okay, it's a different serum virtually every time we've
It's a
seen it
Sentry
because
serum. It's a Sentry
yeah, it's a Sentry serum specifically this one, but every variant of super soldier serum has only been is different. Like the original one that was used to create Cap and Red Skull. The next one was whatever the fuck they did to Bucky, because that was never explained.
Yeah.
And the next one was another official one that was used to make Bradley. His name
Oh yeah,
Ezekiel-
Brad.
Isaiah Bradley. Yep, that's
I
a
believe
different
that
one.
one is the same. No. Actually, I think that one. Well, no, because
It's not the same one.
On it.
It was experimenting. Yeah, he was the only one with at least a normal effects.
Truly, like lived.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a condition and pulled in to make Flag Smasher and U.S. Agent. They whatever the fuck because they never explained how Red Guardian got his powers.
It was the Russian super soldier serum.
Yep, the Russian version, and then you got the Sentry one, which is again based off of Captain America. Oh wait, I forgot one more. Fucking Abomination. Abomination's original one was a mix of that and gamma radiation.
In the MCU, he was supposed to have like a bit of a version of the super soldier serum. So he was a super soldier before he got hit with the gamma.
The gamma rays, yeah, the gamma
tentacles,
transfusion blood, yeah.
Which does explain why he was able to fight the Hulk the way he did.
Yep.
He didn't win, but he
didn't
was
win.
fighting that man. He was doing it. Which is even more so why Falcon should have took the serum. I'm not gonna lie.
Especially going after Red Hulk, like of all things, you're fighting Red Hulk as a normal Captain America.
I mean, I respect him still because he's supposed to be something that like you could be. Like Sam is. Sam is the way he's supposed to be as Captain America, right? Is that Sam is the person that you could become. Captain America is the ideal that you look up to. You can't be Steve Rogers.
But you can at least try
Sam
to.
Wilson.
Yeah. That's the thing is like I don't think having a threat as Red Hulk was probably the first step to that though. Well, second step because the first step was Flag Smasher.
I think it was a cool villain, and it had the same situation as this with the Thunderbolts. Where for me, I'm like, how are you dealing with that? Because that's not a normal threat for you, like at all.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, like Sam. Oh, here's the thing: Sam Wilson got into an actual fist fight with Red Hulk and still somehow won to that degree. They did not win against Sentry.
Oh, there's nothing. It wasn't even close. That man wasn't even trying.
They won from talking. That's how they won.
They had to talk.
That makes sense, though. That's the only way.
Reconciliation, I get that. So I'd like to see what they do with
the void takes you into like the crazy place. Well, it takes you to the void, right? In which you live out your deepest, darkest like
fears and everything, like your biggest regrets.
Your biggest regrets. But
which also missed opportunity. Which also a bit of missed opportunity because we only saw Yelena's. We didn't see Red Guardians,
we didn't
Bucky's.
See anybody else's. That's true.
Because if we saw Bucky's would be a holistic nightmare.
Well, Bucky makes it a joke when he pulls up. He's like, it's not like I have a bad past or anything. It's totally great. It's totally fine. Didn't have to do anything.
100 years of assassinating people.
Exactly. That's what he's like. Easy. I didn't have to do anything to get all the way to you guys. It's fine. It's not like I have a checkered past or anything. And it's like everybody's like, yeah, good point. He had a rough time getting here. he had a rough time. I like the chemistry of the group, though. I think it worked. I think it was fun. They're like ribbing on each other most of the time. Literally
makes sense because they do hate each other. They're literally a bunch of fuck ups staying in a circle. The only one that has a decent relationship is Yelena and Red Guardian because father and daughter, and a little bit Bucky and Red Guardian, but mostly like Red Guardian. Like, oh, I can't believe I'm sitting next to the fucking legend.
It's the Winter Soldier. I am also
Super Soldier.
How did you turn Super Soldier? How did they do you?
I don't know, some Hydra Super Soldier shit.
But it was cool though. I liked their interactions. They're such a shit to walk in, bro. I appreciate it, but like it's funny. There's even a line at one point where they're breaking down everyone else and why they're like a problem, and they look at Walker and go like, "You already know. you already know why you're a fuck up. Like, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, no. Walker is more of an asshole than he was in Falcon Winter Soldier, which I still find it interesting because, like, you know
Makes
what?
sense.
That still it makes sense because it fits really well. Because especially with him and Elena just butting heads all the time. Like, what the fuck? It's me, Elena. Jesus, stop shooting me.
He's like, it's fine, stop. But I do think it was really cool. I like how they did it. I like that the movie stayed, for the most part, most of the problems in that film was grounded until they got to the Sentry, which is the later part of that movie, honestly.
Yeah.
It's the third act, which thank God, it works itself out because they build up Bob throughout the entire movie to be this problem. That's going to be an issue at the third act.
The first third of it was them just like trying to get out of a face. The second one was like Bucky was hunting them down to stop Contessa, and then Bob became a thing. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and I like that. I'm actually like really okay with the idea of like Bob was with the group from beginning to end. He was not an antagonist from beginning to end, but he became one because he has issues. Yep. he has a lot of issues.
A lot of issues.
And they needed people to be there for him in general. Like they made a found family out of this group of misfits, which is fun. You know, it's always fun to see that kind of story. So
it's also just fun fact I'll say it for the podcast. Like the actor who plays Bob, Lewis Pullman, also played a character named Bob in Top Gun Maverick. So I wonder if he's going to get typecasted as the Bob actor moving forward now.
He's just always going to be a Bob.
Yep, always.
But I think everyone acted really cool, did their jobs. I think everything was really cool with this one. I highly recommend going to see Thunderbolt if you haven't seen it. Though, to be fair, if you're here, you probably shouldn't be listening to us. You probably should have already seen it, to be honest.
I would say it's a good first step coming back forward here, but ironically enough, the real first step will be the Fantastic Four movie coming out in a couple of months.
I mean, that's literally Fantastic Four first steps, so yeah. Now let's go to Sinners. Let's move away from superheroes and crazy horror films that go kind of wild to like something a little bit more serious in nature. I say serious, it's about vampires, but still.
And like away from horror, it's still technically a horror.
Yeah, no, it's still technically a horror as well.
I call it Ryan Coogler's
horror.
Well, it's a horror thriller because there's some sort of horror aspect to it. It's definitely not remotely scary in my opinion because I've seen like
because it's vampires.
Scary stuff.
Vampires kind of aren't scary.
Yeah, for the most part there, but I like some of the tension aspects for it. There's just
like a lot of tension.
Trouble. Yeah, a lot of tension. But like I call it Ryan Coogler's From Dusk Till Dawn meets Parent Trap.
That's meets Parent Trap. I mean, I know why you're saying this. But like, wow. What's the name of it? Is it not just on Dusk Till Dawn or like whichever one?
From Dusk Till Dawn. No, From Dusk Till Dawn is a big inspiration for that one because
but there's another one that has twins in it, right? I remember hearing something about this. I'm thinking of there's a gangster movie that has
Legend was it with
Legend?
Tom Hardy playing twins?
I think it might be Legend, but it's like it's Dusk Till Dawn meets Legend, which is probably a better pick.
I just say the Parent Trap because that's the first thing that comes to mind.
That's so fucked up. Why did you say Parent Trap? I mean, I get it. It's funny. I'm just like, wow, Parent Trap? Really?
Yep. But what was your opinions on the film, man?
I really liked it. I mean, I was really chilling with it. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I'll say this. I think Sinners is really good. I walked out of that movie theater thinking it was fire. I also think that people might have overhyped it for me a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a tad. Not too much, but a tad.
Okay. I'd say okay. I'm not sure if we were part of the problem because I know me and Paul and Zach.
No, trust me. I've heard it from like you guys, several other people. There's a lot of people that was like, "This movie is the shit," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go check it out." And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't walk away disappointed, so it worked itself out. But like, at the same time,
so
you know me as a person, where it's like the more you tell me something's good, the more it's gonna disappoint me. So it's like it's better to just be like, "Hey, go watch that. It's good."
You know what? Maybe we should do the opposite reaction to you. So like next time I'm gonna pick a film that you don't have no interest in, I'm gonna tell you it's the worst thing in the world. Go watch it. Let's see how that goes.
I mean, I'll probably go into it with very low expectations and come out with very high expectations. Well, high praise. That's exactly how that would play out. I'm like, you told me, you lied. You said this was bad. I'd probably come out really confused because I'm like, how is this bad?
That's what I'll do. No, this is what I'll do. Instead of seeing Fantastic Four together with you guys, I'll see it again the second time, but tell you like this movie is just awful. Don't go. Well, I'm not going to see it. We already spent the tickets, so we'll have to go see it now. But fine, don't want. I'm not going to like it.
This movie's trash. But
Yeah.
I think as far as like the film was considered, I was like, oh no, I liked a lot of the shots. I really like how the vampires look. I don't know, like they don't do anything super crazy, but like
the glowing eyes alone.
Of the glowing eyes, the way they do it with the heavy
darkness,
shadow over them, it's so cool. I'm like, that's kind of sick. That's kind of cool, guys.
That was really cool. The guy who plays Sammy, the preacher boy Sammy. Yeah. Holy crap! I thought his performance was the best one in the film. Oh, yeah, and this is his first acting role. It's his first acting role.
He has the potential to. He's competing with Michael B. Jordan, who's playing two characters in this film, and he's doing just as good as them, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, this is his first actor. He's against three pretty. Yeah, no, he's against like pretty big actor names. Like he has Haley Steinfeld to go with, Michael B. Jordan, the chick who I forget her name, but I know it's like a big one. The one who the guard from Loki. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's so in there. She's really pretty and cool. And like this guy can act, and this is his first filmmaking role. Like holy shit.
Also, I will say this: a lot of people were glazing Haley Steinfeld as far as like how she looked in this film, and I didn't understand. Yeah. I didn't understand. I really didn't understand until she said one line, and I was like, okay.
Yeah,
maybe I kind of get it.
No, like they're in the film.
I don't think she's pretty, but people were talking about her in this film specifically being like wild, and I'm like, all right, guys, relax. She's chilling. She's in like an old like 1950s dress,
30s,
like 1930s dress. It's not that crazy, and then she hit like she hit Michael B. Jordan. She hit Stack because that's just we have to. So Stack and Smoke are the two twins. Yeah. We have to separate them. She hit Stack with what I feel is like one of the hardest lines to throw to a thief. And I was like,
well, what was it like the last time I saw you? You had your head between my legs.
No.
Not that one.
It was when she came in and she was like after she got turned. And she was talking.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
She was talking smack, bro. I was like,
To be granted, though, this film is also incredibly, like... it's very horny. There's 3 sex scenes in the film for it. It's like, wow.
With all very pretty actresses. Extremely attractive females in this movie. To be fair, I'm going to be honest, I think almost everybody in this film, with the exception of like the 2 old dudes, is like attractive in this film. Michael B. Jordan's in this movie twice. like I can just say that he's in this film twice. It's 2 different people.
Yep. Also, just love the fact that the mayor of Gotham got eaten out in this film.
Is she the mayor of Gotham in?
Yes, she is the mayor of Gotham from the Batman.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yep, that's Monica Rial.
That's so funny.
Bella Real, sorry. That's Bella Real.
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Mayor Bella Real, like, wait, where is he? You're from Gotham in the Penguin show. Fuck.
But I guess we'll do the rundown of Sinners real quick, like a bit. So like,
what'd you think of that scene? The music scene.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little weird on it. I think it's
a little weird on it.
I think it's super cool. Right? I think everything that it's doing is awesome. I'm really weird on the fact of, like, I get that it was supposed to be summoning spirits. The future part threw me off a bit, and then I obviously instantly kind of caught on to, like, oh yeah, nah, it's for the culture, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, there are parts of it that I'm like, it's going on for a minute, and we're introducing so many genres of music that we're losing the song that's actually supposed to be here.
Oh no, it definitely gets crowded. So there's a soundtrack already out released for the movie. That music is blended into that scene. So what you're hearing in the film is what's on the soundtrack.
Good. It's just that there's so much of it that I'm like, wow. Like because it's like it goes to a bunch of all like urban and black culture music, right? But then because other people of other races are there, it blends.
You got like
into those
Chinese
things.
stuff.
Yeah,
You
you got
got
some Chinese stuff in there.
you got some Eastern stuff in there.
Yeah.
You got the future stuff in there. You got the past stuff in like wow. He's like
Oh,
from
dude,
rock
this
and
is
roll. Yeah, one
the craziest
freaking
part
guy
is
looks
a lot
like
of the-
dresses. Yeah.
A lot of the past stuff actually works really well with the song, no problem. But
Yeah.
it's really when we get to the future stuff that I'm like,
Especially the hip hop
kinda
stuff. The
losing-
hip hop stuff like clashes in pretty hard.
The hip hop stuff, bro. The hip hop stuff almost took me out, but it clicked again with me after a little bit because I'm like, it still worked, right? But I think my biggest problem is that it just takes so long going around all this stuff that it's like,
Well, it's a long scene, but it's a
I'm
one
losing
take
the
scene.
song.
It is a one take scene. I'm not sure you
It's
saw
a
it.
really cool one take scene. I'm not even pretending like it's not. It was like they have him metaphorically burning the house down, and I figured that like they have the representation of him basically breaking the veil, which is him, the house not existing anymore. They're dancing out there, and because the vampires can kind of just see into it, they're like, they can feel him, and they're like, all right, come here. So like, I guess we'll point out like one of the obvious plot threads is the fact that like in the beginning they tell you that like there are certain people that can in every culture that can play music, or like usually the idea is that their voice carries and can pierce the veil between our
The
world
living and the dead.
supernatural and living and the dead and things of that nature.
You bring spirits from the past and your ancestors to it, but also attracts demons.
Yes, because of the fact that you're piercing the veil, it's like you're opening a doorway for things. And although you want certain things to come through, because you get to see your ancestor, everyone gets to party. It's a big party with those you care about, and the living meets the dead, but it's like all copacetic. Other things can also walk through that door if they see it, though. That's kind of the issue. And so, because it's obviously been like forever, the vampires see this dude and they're like, "We need you." Basically, he's a demon. He is a demon, right?
He's a vampire, yeah. Well, he's not a born demon, because he makes a statement near the end of the film that the same people that you're praising, the Christian cross that he's praying to, those same people turn me into what I am.
That's true. He does say that. That is actually really cool. I thought that was kind of sick. Because that was one of the things that was getting me, is the fact that, like, he was saying the prayer, and I was like, it's not working. And then he started saying the prayer with him. And I was like, oh, it's really not working.
Well, yeah, God's not going to save you here, because God's the reason I turned into this type of
I
deal.
was like, oh, no. I was like, this is bad.
Tragic.
Truly. I was like, but it was one of those cool scenes. But, like, now, I will say this. The movie is slow. It takes a long time before we get into it.
It's the first half is dedicated for character introduction. It is
Which
that.
is, I wasn't bothered by it too much. I actually
It wasn't,
chilling with Stack and seeing, because like they have some, like, to me personally, some heavy hitting stuff that just kind of happens, right? So like for instance, Smoke, when he's talking to what's her name, Amy, I believe her name is Amy.
I think so. I gotta look that up again. The character's name. It's been
Emma. But like, they're talking about like they're having. He's like you're selling like this voodoo stuff, and like she's like, look, man, it's spiritual.
Annie.
Okay.
Yeah, the actress is Moonmi Amosaku. I'm never gonna remember that name.
Moonmi. I remember Moonmi.
She was in Luther. She was in Man of Steel. She was the chick that got pushed onto the train, and of course she was MC in Loki, Hunter B-15, and Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, she was cool. She's cool. She's really cool.
Yeah, I know she's a great actress. I like her.
But they're having that conversation, obviously, that's there, and it's like he's kind of like being a bit antagonistic to her about, like, you know, making these
voodoo stuff,
spiritual things. It's not inherently voodoo, but like it's these spiritual like trinkets and things like that help. It's like remedies and things like that help. And basically he's like, why didn't that work for our kid? And like it's a clean way of just dropping the fact that like these two were together, they had a kid, their baby died.
Yep.
Like I was like, oh, because I was wondering what was up with that. I thought he was actually stopping by their pops initially, like the grave.
Oh no, they revealed they hated their pops. So.
Yeah, but like the way that they talk about it, right, is that they have that he buried him and everything like that. So it's like maybe he just feels guilty about, you know, I didn't like you, but I killed you. You're still my dad, right? So like he's stopping by a grave initially, and he's doing his thing, and he puts.
I thought it was his mom, honestly, because they didn't mention that he didn't get
It's
the
true.
the
They
mom.
didn't mention the mom too much. It's a very possible. It's a huge possibility, and you find out like shortly after. It's like, oh, that's your baby's grave. Oh, that's sad.
Yep. And that's why he feels guilty. That's why he feels guilty both Fanny and Stack. That like we lost our child, and like I feel bad. Like you saved me? Why didn't you save our kid? Like, and she said, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. And it's a rough scene. It's kind of a rough scene. It's followed by them fucking afterwards, but you know, it's supposed to be together either way. It's emotionally charged, so it kind of makes sense as to how he got there.
Yep.
But it's very emotionally charged. But I think it was cool. I like the situation. The situation with Stack and what was Haley Steinfeld's character's name?
Oh, Smoke and yeah. No, Stack and Haley, Annie and
Haley.
Smoke. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Molly, I think her name was.
Was it Molly?
I think so. I'll look it up. I had it just here.
Yeah, I think it was. They call her like Little Molly in the thing. I'm pretty sure like either Little Molly or Little Dolly.
Mary, her name Mary.
Mary? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough. Yeah.
It started with an M. But they have a conversation with like Little Mary and everything like that, and I like the idea that throws me off about it is like they have their brother look out for like anyone that's followed, right? So then you have like this white chick that's just staring at them initially that you're like, so what's up with that? Why is this white chick just staring at us?
And then it reveals like, oh, I was like, shit. Oh, the last time I saw you, you had your head between my legs. Like, whoa, what the?
Whoa! I was like, they also like cunnilingus in this. I don't know why, but this movie really likes the idea of like just like eating pussy in this movie for some reason.
Oh my!
It happens a lot in this film.
It
Yeah,
gets brought up a lot.
I mean, Sammy even got some action. Honestly, like, oh wow.
I was like, it just gets brought up a
Also,
lot.
funniest film still like so funniest scene still is like them like both walking up like smoke here's like moaning behind the door like oh my cousin's getting it, my boy. And the same Sammy goes into the room and sees some fuck like oh shit close it like they're like I can't do it, you have to do it.
He's like, I told you to go get him. He's like, I'm not going back in there alone. But obviously, like almost everyone in this movie besides Preacher Boy dies. I'm gonna just point this out right now.
Yeah, everyone pretty much dies except Preacher Boy Sammy. Like, oh wow. But he goes on to becoming a legendary blues singer, played by Buddy Guy.
Yeah, because, like, man, if I saw that, yeah, no, you probably make the craziest blues music ever. Like, it's easy. It's easy to talk about that. Which is why it works itself out. But that movie's, I think it's cool. I think the way that it jumps, like, I like the way that it unravels its lore with the characters and things of that nature. It does it slowly, and, like, it's not until, like, the real third, I think it's the second act? It's the third or second act that really pops off with the vampires. I feel like
it's just like the second act is when it starts talking about vampire. Yeah. I also like the ruling they do for the log because like one of the like more weirder rules of vampires not being allowed into places without an invitation. Like they play that into the dialogue pretty well. Like that's clever. I thought that was really clever.
I think they had a really cool scene with it. It's like, why can't you just walk your bigger like you a big dude? Why can't you just walk yourself in here? He's like, nah man, I just want to come in. Just if y'all would let me in if I stand in the way. It's like, nah, walk yourself up in here. Do it. I thought that was a fun scene. I like that. I like that a lot. Like, you a big dude. You just throw me a stack out the way. What are you
Also, I feel bad for that one random guy that thought that was dead or a vampire. Like, oh no, he was alive. He was just drunk. Like, oh fuck.
Oh no. It's like, oh yeah, no, he's screwed. The action could have been a little bit better, I feel. Like, especially with certain parts in this film.
Yeah.
Well, a very specific part. They have a big action scene. That it's like,
they have big action. I know what you're talking about. It is messy because like there's a close up on one scene. Like,
I thought people died that I just didn't get to see. I was like, wait a minute,
yeah.
hold up. Did you
kill the wife got killed. She got burned to death. That one I didn't see. There's one character I saw that they had close up a male character to get like chewed up and bitten. Like, oh, Delta Slim's dead. Like, no, he's not dead. Because he seems died later. Like, wait, I thought he died because it looked like he did. Like,
So who?
That focus was weird.
Yeah.
Because like I don't remember any other random NPC that we didn't know a name of out of the group here because we had everyone named already. Who was this random fuck?
And I was like, bruh. But like there was just some of it that I was just like, wow, okay. Okay, I really want to talk about this a little bit. So I've heard a lot of people talking about the main antagonist of this film, the main villain, the demon, quote unquote.
Remick,
the Remick, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of people kind of talking about how interesting and fascinating as a villain he is. I don't see it. Like,
he's not that deep.
He has one really good speech that I'm like, well, maybe like two, actually.
Yeah. I don't think he's that deep because he wants a singular thing and he tries different ways of convincing them for it, but I don't think he's that compelling. He's like more of a force of nature than anything else.
And, yeah, no, honestly. Because, like, he has, like, one good speech where he's talking about, look, man, we all vampires, we get to see everyone, we don't believe in hate because it's stupid, right? Like, we all won. We get to chill. We vibe. Right?
Not to mention the fact that he starts speaking Chinese because he converted one of the character's husbands.
And he got the memories of him, so now he knows to speak Chinese. And I'm like, wow, that's... I'm going to be honest. The reason why I say Remick might be more of a demon than a vampire. I mean, they are vampires in this film, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, that's the deal. But, like, the thing about him that makes him so dangerous in my opinion is that talking to him is, in my opinion, in this film, the equivalent of talking to the devil. Because he's like doing a lot of silver tongue wording of things where it's like, hey man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be just a better time over here. Jump over here. It's all good. The water's fine. We're not my bad. We're not gonna force you. Right? We're not gonna force you. You gotta let us in. We're like, we can stand out here. We can just chill, right? Like, it's all good. And it's all this other stuff about how he's trying to egg them on to want to do stuff, right? Like, and he's giving them all these different types of reasons to do, like, to attempt to do things or to let them in or, like, come out to join them, things of that nature. He's trying to coax them into it or coerce them in some way. And I'm just kind of like, he really does spend most of this movie just chilling outside, just dancing and talking. I mean, he's got some, like, pretty good reasonings behind things, but, like, at the same time, I'm like, I'm not convinced, if that makes any sense. I mean, like, he's acting really, like, his acting's good. I'm looking at it and I'm like, why is everyone kind of glazing this villain specifically? I just don't see it. Like, I don't see why everyone's talking so heavy about him. He's cool.
I think it's because he's a villain who can sing, because he does sing Rocky Road to Dublin, like, oh, I recognize the song, this is fun.
And then apparently that was also supposed to be a thing, too. Like, the fact that, like, he's Irish is something that's hidden. And it is, initially.
I mean, as soon as he started singing, I recognized the Irish tone. Like, yep, he's definitely Irish.
Yeah, it was supposed to be something that's revealed to people, but I'm actually, like, a little confused on, like, why it was important. Like, I know that they stole from the Irish and the mob. Well, they did from the Irish and the Italian to bring down the alcohol and stuff that they had to be like, oh, look. And he had the two, like, Smoke and Stack basically had the two rival gangs up north,
in Chicago,
fighting against each other because they took what they took and bounced because it looked like they did it to each other. But it was just weird to me because it's like, I thought it was gonna mean something with him coming here, like, you know, like this vampire like had a direct connection with them, right? But like, it doesn't even mean anything. Like, him being Irish is almost like,
no.
It adds to the idea of him being like, I understand where you're coming from, where like you're being like,
which doesn't really play until the very end of the film, though.
But yeah, but he's like, for the most part, I'm just kind of like, okay, you understand what it's like to be oppressed, but you are trying to kill them.
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna turn them into vampires, granted, but like that does involve dying. you do have to die first in this, and like they also.
Is he a redhead?
He's a little bit redhead. It's a little hard to see in the dark.
Yeah, it's movies spends most of its time in the dead of night.
But of course he's evil. He has no soul.
But it's just one of those things that I looked at and I was just like, why is it bringing this up so much? And I do find it fascinating. There's some stuff that he talks about.
Nah, there's layers, man. There's layers. You just gotta look deeper.
Layers, but it's not layers in the sense of like he's layers as in he's a real character, like he's a real
Yeah.
person, quote unquote.
But
Not
like,
in
it's
the
not
sense
something
of,
like you affect like he's justified of what his actions do. Like, no, he's not justified at all.
yeah, it's not like one of those villains where it's like, oh, if I just followed your story, it would make total sense as to why you're doing. No, you're trying to kill me. You just want to turn me into a vampire so you can bring out your buddies that you've seen in like in the past, like that have died over the years. And I'm like, yeah, they're dead for a reason. Also, if we just establish that, like, I can sing to a point in which I'm bringing, attracting things like you and like all this other stuff, I don't want to bring anything else through that veil. This is such a bad move on so many cases. But that's also why I think like it's allusions to like why he might be a demon. It's because if he does that, you can bring other. He wants to see his friends, and the idea is, well, who are your friends? Are they other vampires?
I got friends.
Are they dead, or are they other things that could kill
Are
us?
they dead people that you just missed because you've been alive for so long? Or are they more vampire type beat things? Like, are they literal demons that we're bringing through? Like, what do you want? Like, you want me to use my abilities that I kind of really just figured out I even have? And technically, there was never a realization that he had it. It's just, hey, you can do that thing. And he's like, excuse me, I can do what now? I was like, I was just singing. I didn't know I did anything. But I do think it's really cool. I think it's one of those films that like I think people should just go check out. Obviously, I guess we should probably mention the fact that they did have this movie has like 3 endings.
Yeah, it takes a long time to end. Like
It
Lord of
does.
the Rings, it does.
It has we got to the end of the movie and I was like, bet, okay, so one of the twins survived and Preacher Boy. Nah.
Yeah, they survived the Night of Vampires, and nope. Then
You
Stack
gotta
goes.
go gun down some racists first.
Yep, and then they go to Sammy 60 years later, and he's still alive in the Legendary Blue Singer. But then you get Smoke come back as Stack.
Stack is the one that comes back.
Stack and Mary come back as the vampires. Like, hey, how you doing, kid?
Yeah, they never died in the crazy incident that killed all those other vampires. They just dipped.
Yep.
Which I'm like, you know what? Fair. They also lost the motivation to continue. To be fair, because when Smoke killed
Annie.
Annie, right?
Yeah.
He killed her because she got bit. Actually, so she's
Yeah, and they made a promise like, kill me before I turn. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, do it. So he kills her. And they are like, bro, why would you do that? Like, we could have all been together. Like, you done fucked it up. And
well,
like,
no,
so
the
they
final
leave.
moment that's like Smoke and Stack are fighting each other.
They
Smoke,
come back, is what I mean, but they leave
yeah.
for the most part. And
Yeah.
they come back, and it's Smoke and Stack. The two twin brothers are fighting each other. And Smoke gets the upper hand and can't kill Stack.
Because he's still my brother. Yeah.
Still my brother. So he's like, bro, get out of
So
here.
don't
He made him promise. He's like, don't touch Preacher Boy. Don't kill him. Right? Don't do this to him.
let him live his life. Let him live
Live
his
his
life.
life. Just leave him alone. Right? He's like, he's the only one we got left. Just let him be. And so Stack is like, all right. So he takes Mary and they dip. They just leave. Right? So they don't get caught up in the sunlight when things finally happen. Everyone else does though. But then they pop up years later at the bar, essentially. And we don't see them leave, is the deal. We just see them pull up at the bar initially, and then it goes back and explains what happened. And so, like, they're like, hey, buddy, like, you're kind of close to death, bro. You sure you don't? I mean,
Nah, I'm good.
Vampirism, you sure? And he's like, man, I'm kind of good on living. I'm like, I'm kind of, I don't want to continue to. I'm really good. And I was like, you know what? That's a fair point. He's like, I'm sick of this place. I was like, I'm gonna just live out my days and call it a day. I was like, all right. But they basically just ask him to play like one
last song
for
the original
guitar.
guitar.
They
Yeah.
haven't seen him. Just do it on the original guitar, and he does it. And they're like, appreciate it, man. And they dip out. They basically just let him know that we still out there. You know, I know it's traumatizing. That whole shit was sucked. He even asked Stack. He's like, hey man, like, as crazy as that night was until the sun went down and things got crazy, it was like the best night of his life, right? And Stack responds, he's like, I agree. Yeah. It was the best night of mine too.
Last time I
He's
saw
like,
my brother, last time I saw the sun, last time I
sunlight.
felt free.
Yeah. He was like, and I'm like, it's a powerful ending. I'm not gonna lie. Like it feels good. It's a for me personally, it hit like right in my chest, a little gut wrenching, right? Well, I was like, a part of me was like, at least it's not in the way I would have thought they would have lived, but at least more people from these characters got to live on, even if it is in different ways. Everyone gets like their own thing. Like for instance, Smoke gets to kind of hold his kid as he dies, right?
Yep, he was
Because
family.
he sees his dead, well, essentially girlfriend and child, and she's like, you gotta put the smoke away. You can't be smoking if you're gonna be our baby. And he gets to hold it in his final moments after he guns down like 50
All the racists.
Ku Klux Klan members.
Yep.
But like, it was cool. And I was like, yeah. But he just didn't care about his life no more. So I was like, damn, bro, I needed you to live.
Yep. And then Stack got what he wanted because he was him and Mary are together forever now.
They're together forever as vampires. They don't have to worry about a lot of the situation they would have had to worry about back in the 1930s. They could just be together, and it's not a problem. It's not an issue. They've lived their entire centuries forever, essentially. And now they could be with each other no matter what. The two of them, Mary followed him into hell, essentially, is what the deal is on that one. And
I mean, typically, Mary dragged him into hell.
technically, yeah. But like, and Smoke got to be with the child that they lost. Like they got to have the family that they lost in the afterlife. Is what happens with Smoke. It's kind of cool. I think it's fun. I think it's good. I think it's like a really cool. Fun isn't the right word when it's kind of sad, but like,
I mean, it was a tragedy. It was gonna be a tragedy one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah. And Buddy apparently just never gets remarried. It's the best. The one time he smashed a girl, he was like, "That's all I needed."
And I liked her so much. I named my band after her.
The bar, actually.
No, Berlin's. Yeah, that's the name of the chick he smashed.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's the bar, not the. If I'm not mistaken, it's his bar, not the band.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, I guess you just didn't find anyone else. You could have, but I'm not. You became a famous blues singer, so you couldn't find anybody else. It's fine. It's fine. But he's been traumatized by that, so I'm sure that followed him throughout the rest of his life.
Especially as the scars are still on his face.
Yeah, but it was good. It was such a good time. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the film quite a bit there. I know like people are like giving like a lot of hype for it, and people are saying that they should make a sequel, or this is the best film of the year.
This is
like,
not a movie you make a sequel to. What the fuck?
they really want Ryan Coogler to do like no, leave this alone. We don't need a Joker 2. Come on.
This is not a movie you make a sequel to. Oh. I didn't think that Joker needed a sequel.
Sinners 2.
I know, neither either. That's I'm saying like don't fall for it. You don't need a sequel.
To be fair, I'm of the impression that I don't think there should have been a Joker 1, but that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother thing. But like, yeah, people are bugging with that one. This should not have a sequel at all. Until Dawn needs another one, because I think like they can do more in that world that isn't the game, but like, Until Dawn needs another one. Thunderbolts needs another one. Well, it's leading into things, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
we're getting Fantastic Four in a couple months, so.
But it leads into stuff, so like it's part of the MCU, so it's basically getting sequels, but just it doesn't realize it's getting sequels. And Sinners needs to stay exactly where it is. Like, don't touch it. Just at the very most, remaster it down the line if you need to. That's it. Don't touch
The
it.
sequel will be called Saviors.
That's already a movie.
Sinners called Saviors. But good vibes all around. Go check out all of those movies. I'm gonna just say, just go check out all of them. Like, if you haven't, though, you probably should have by now. If you're listening to us.
Yeah.
But if for some reason you're like, it's fine.
Don't blame us.
No. Hey, now you can't say anything because we definitely gave you all the warnings. But now you know the plot, and now you know it's good. So go ahead and go watch them. In fact, if you're already here, go watch it again. Go watch all of them again. Because why not? Thunderbolts deserves better. And Sinners is already grossing a lot, but watch it again anyway, just to let people know that, like, yeah, go watch it.
Yeah.
Just do it. I might go watch Sinners again. Leon hasn't seen it. This motherfucker didn't care. We were just gonna make
Didn't
a
see
one
any of
scene.
it. He didn't see any of the 3 films, and we invited him to Thunderbolts, and motherfucker never responded.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I did not.
Look at you.
I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah. Jackass. Now look at you.
Tragedy.
You look like
Don't worry, we'll call him out again if he pulls off. We'll call him out again if he pulls the same shit with Fantastic Four or Superman.
I will vanish in thin air and be like, ooh, ghosting.
We'll see. Now you look like a dickhead. Now you look like a
Next thing I
dickhead
know,
that didn't
someone's
watch the
gonna
cool
bust down
movies
my
that we
door. Like,
watched.
what the fuck
Actually,
are you
no, because he's a massive weeb, the only thing I can guarantee that he will go see is a Jujutsu Kaisen movie.
Which is such a waste
Honestly,
of time.
I'm more excited for the Chainsaw movie than Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh yeah, because the Chainsaw Man movie is gonna be fucking lit.
Yeah.
That's different. It's an entire arc as a movie. Like, yeah.
But don't you want to see the Jujutsu Kaisen movie just to keep up all the JJK stuff?
Isn't it rehashing stuff from season 2?
Yes, it is. But it's a movie now, so
Yeah, no.
it's,
Oh my
it's
God.
something new.
Better animation. Holy shit.
That's actually debatable if it's even going to be better animation.
It might just be the show.
That's true.
It might just be the show as a movie.
It'll be hilarious if they just put episodes together and just say it's a movie. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that with Demon Slayer, like the first 2 episodes of the Swordsman Village arc, or Blacksmith Village arc.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, without further ado, we're going to bring this one to a close because we've done all the movies that we were supposed to do on this one. So, we've been streaming stuff on Twitch / Paperplay Action. Go check that out. There's a lot of stuff that we've been streaming. You should join us for them. They've been fun.
Absolutely.
We're probably going to stream something either later today when you guys hear this or earlier today when you guys hear this.
Yeah.
Just go check the stuff for that. Also, gonna just say this on the podcast. We said it on the streams. Go to our YouTube channel. That is Paper Play Action on YouTube. That is going to be our archive channel, which is, it's been acting like one this whole time, but it's necessary to say this because Twitch is being a little stupid on keeping our highlights and stuff like that so that people can go back and watch and VODs and stuff like that. So, because that's being an issue, we're going to just tell you to go over there and subscribe there so that in case you miss anything, you can just watch it there and it would be fine. So, and that also has our podcast episodes and stuff like that, just in case it goes up over there as well. So it keeps you in the loop. Also, if you really want to be in the loop, you're going to probably want to hit up either the app formerly known as Twitter or Threads or Instagram or Blue Skies.
Yeah, send us a skeet.
No.
What the fuck's a skeet?
Shut up. It's not an important part. You have to go to paper_action on those places and follow us there so you can know when we're streaming or when we're going to pull up a new episode or to let you know if things are going to be delayed or things like that. That's where that news comes from. Never mind what Pele said. We're not getting into that. I don't care what's being said. We're not diving into that. But what we could dive into is some of these emails that we be getting. And you can send those at paperplayaction@gmail.com. That's always a thing. So you can send us questions there. And you can always jump into our Patreon if you wanted to support us. That is or our coffee that's down there in the description below. Either or. It's $1 a month. You usually have $1. Chances are maybe you do it, you support us and help us out. It's a thing. It's not that bad. Well, it gets us to do more stuff, and maybe I can hire someone to edit because I'm tired of fighting things. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of fighting the darkness. But either way, it's all good. I'm gonna keep doing what I have to do, and we're gonna keep making it all good. So, without further ado, we're gonna bring this one to a close. Peace, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good night or a good day.
Farewell.
Listening to this. Yes, do that. Oh, my bad. Spread the love. I forgot about that part. We never forget.
Oh my
that
God,
part.
how could you? My God.
Spread the love.
Audacity. Spread the love.
And we're doing it right now. Spread it.
Yeah, spread the love.
Let people know. All right,
Spread
we're
it
out.
wide and far. Yes, bye.
Peace.